Hello, everyone. My name is Sanjana. I am the host today. Thank you for joining the podcast Know the Social Sector. Today we have Merlia Shaukath from Madhi Foundation. Merlia herself is one of the most passionate leaders in the development sector in India. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you, Sanjana. My pleasure.
To start this podcast, I would request you to, could you please want to introduce yourself with our audience?
Sure. So I'm Merlia and I'm from Madhi Foundation. Madhi works on foundational learning, specifically with the government of Tamil Nadu. And we work with the Department of School Education to holistically and systemically improve the quality of foundational learning in Tamil Nadu's government schools, 37,000 government schools. It's been an exciting journey over the last 6 years, starting from a team of 5 working in 3 schools to now soon to be a team of 200 working across Tamil Nadu. It's been very humbling, but also extremely challenging to be solving, I think, one of the biggest problems that face education today.
Thank you so much. How does the culture of the organization look like, Malia?
So we've always taken a lot of pride in saying that Madhi is a people-first organization, and I think all our policies and processes reflect that. There's a lot of emphasis on the kind of core values that we hold dear at Madhi, and that feeds into pretty much every aspect of our life at Madhi. So be it during the selection process itself to how you are evaluated or how your work is assessed. It's not so much about deliverables and key results, but a lot about your alignment with the kind of core values that we hold dear at Madhi. And we try and balance. I mean, it's an extremely challenging environment to work in. So we do try and put a lot of fun into the work that we do, and try and say that at the end of the day, we're all human beings with very human needs. So we try and ensure that our policies and processes also reflect that, which means a lot of empathy goes into designing all these policies and processes. And so far, I think, just given the cohesion of the team at Madhi, we've been, I think, fairly successful in ensuring value alignment. But we'll see. As an organization grows, that always is a challenge, to hold that cohesion together and to ensure that your culture grows sustainably. But I'm hopeful that it will.
When you say people first organization, your culture defines everything. Our audience would also like to know about what diversity and inclusion means at organization level for you.
I don't know if this qualifies as diversity in the social sector. In the corporate sector, there is always a need for advocating for gender diversity and ensuring that there are more women who are given opportunities. But I think, given the nature of the social sector, it's actually skewed the other way around, right? We have in our team, where I think 90% women and 10% men. A lot of our senior leadership positions are occupied or are women. So in that sense, I think diversity and inclusion means a lot more and means very different things in the social sector. We are working on the other aspects of diversity and inclusion as well. We're also an organization that does not believe in sort of elitist selection of individuals. So our selection policy blind to whichever institution you come from, as long as you have the skills in place. And but our selection is quite rigorous. So we do have a rigorous selection process and a pre-work that we've been told is very challenging and rigorous. So as long as individuals get through and are able to do justice to the pre-work, we don't really privilege the kind of institution that you come from or the background that you come from at Madhi.
You have a very interesting line on your LinkedIn profile saying hiring for 50 critical leadership roles at Madhi. Would you like to put a light on it?
Sure. So we're growing. This year is a year of exponential growth for Madhi. So we will be, till last year, thanks to the pandemic, we were a small team of 11, and now we're a team of 30, and soon to grow to a team of 200. So a lot of our roles right now are leadership roles, and they are either at a senior manager level or above. So we have senior managers, associate directors, directors, and a lot of them require fairly generic project management skills, but also I think some exposure to the development sector and education sector will be, obviously an added advantage. And yeah, we're hoping in the next couple of months, we've already, out of the 50, we've been able to hire a fair number. But I think over the next couple of months, we're hoping that we get to as close to that 50 as possible.
Would you like to share what's the starting salary range for a fresher candidate?
Our starting salary for a fresher is at an associate level between 4 lakhs and 6 lakhs.
How do an individual apply for it? Is it an application process or a resume sharing on email?
Yeah, it's pretty streamlined. So if you go to our website, you will see the careers page, and careers page has the JD. And we are one of the few organizations that also mentions the pay scale on the JD itself. And I assure you that we go through every single application. We receive about 50 to 75 applications a day, but we go through every single one of them. For us, it's not about the institution or not so much about the quality of your institution or the ranking of your institution, but the quality of your experience. There are a few other factors that we evaluate as well. Once your application is evaluated and goes through the first round, you'll be sent a pre-work that will require about 4 hours of your time to complete. Then you send the pre-work back to us. Once you send the pre-work, we invite you to an interview. If you're based in Chennai, then it's a physical interview. If you're not, then all of us have come around to doing virtual interviews as well.
We would also like to know what's the retention rate of an employee in the organization.
Given that we've grown from 10 to 30 right now, I think only in the last 1 year we've really had a much bigger team. So we'll know in the next couple of years what the retention rate is. But generally, on an average, is anywhere between. We have employees who've been with us for the last 6 years, ever since Madhi started. 5 years, 4 years. So there's a distribution.
What is that one message that you want to share with young people or the people listening to this video? Or
sure. I always acknowledge the fact that I was extremely privileged and extremely lucky to have been able to choose a career in this sector. I am not one who would sit and preach about giving up all your other goals and aims and plans and jump into the sector. I think moving into the sector requires a lot of thought. So understand that where you are in your life and what are your constraints and what are some of the challenges, very real life challenges that you might face today and you might face in the next 5 years. Evaluate that against the opportunities that exist in the sector and understand what kind of challenges making a choice like this might throw at you. Speak to a lot of people in the sector before you decide that this is where you want to be. And then if you decide that nothing is going to stop you from making that plunge into the sector and making this a very conscious choice, then I think you're the best fit for the sector. Not everybody can survive the sector. Not everybody can, gets into it for the right reasons and then looks back and sort of realizes that this is not the right place for them. And there's no harm in that, right? But I think it's better if you make an extremely informed choice before you enter the sector and then embrace all the amazing things that the sector has to offer, and of course all the other challenges that the sector has to offer as well.
thank you so much.
So we are coming up with a series of interactive sessions with people with people at Madhi. But other than that, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I put out a lot of posts on Madhi every now and then. We have our own LinkedIn page. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We are on Instagram as well. I don't think you can get away these days without being on Instagram. So do follow all our handles. Just look for Madhi Foundation on any of these platforms, and you should be able to find us. And do follow us.
Sure. Thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you today.
My pleasure entirely. Thank you so much, Sanjana, for having me.